guys, welcome back to Transits and Tactics. What a transit. It's such an amazing energy. We are under the influence of gate 2, which is the most feminine energy, pure feminine, pure open to receive energy, and the gate is called the gate of higher knowing because all the themes and everything we're talking about today is about realigning yourself with your direction based on your uniqueness and your higher knowing of who you are deep down, regardless of what the world around tries to tell you you are, or their judgments and their influences. We all know deep down always the truth, right? So this is the energy where this truth wants to come out, and it wants to come out to bring you harmony, to bring you balance, to feel inspired because you are channeling this higher self. It's a really wonderful energy. You can get so creative, you can get so you can work on projects, complete the projects. There's just so much inspiration and a lot of drive. But as with all good energy, there's always something to watch out for. And right now, this one thing to watch out for is where you're putting your resources and energy into, because you could be very inspired. I'm having this day today that is exactly like that. I'm feeling energized. I've done a lot of things, but I'm feeling like I'm getting sucked into other things that kind of mundane, even though they also need to be done, instead of putting this energy where I need it, like creating content. And I'm glad, we were not supposed to record on the day that we're recording. I'm glad we're recording it today because there's at least some opportunity to channel. The thing with this energy is that it can come out if you let it. Obviously, if you're not in your way, it can come out and you can be very inspirational. Not that I'm saying that I'm very inspirational right now, but it's up to you, the listener or viewer, to decide. But this is the opportunity to let it flow, whatever comes out, without being restrictive about it, because you are supported. The energy of receiving, it's such an amazing energy. It's not a go get it, it's not a push it, it's not something that requires effort. What it requires is openness. You just have to open yourself to insights, open yourself to realizations, open yourself to realigning yourself and choosing your direction, because this is all about the direction, yeah. So another influence that grounds this energy, and this is even cooler, I think, is gate 1, which is the gate of self-expression. So you are thinking about what's this, not that you're thinking about what's your unique direction. Don't spend time in your head, right? The unique direction will be calling you. You will feel the pull. We're both projectors here. The invitations that we have to wait. The invitation is the sense of being pulled towards something. It's not always that somebody has to actually invite you, right? So you're going to be pulled anyway to this energy of direction. And you're looking for the harmony. Now, the opposite side is that you can feel melancholic. If you're in the shadow kind of influences of this energy, you can feel like there's no harmony, there is no balance. Catch yourself when you're going into that melancholy, unless you want to channel it to create some beautiful content, because we can always do that. Melancholy is a beautiful creative energy. But just to remind yourself that, you are unique in who you are. There is no rules, or there's no box to fit. You are perfect the way you are. Your job is to allow it to flow, allow to serve the world through channeling this. This is gate 1, helps you to express yourself. What have you been putting off that you can express yourself with today? Is there a video on your website that you're putting off to record, like on a contact page or some sort of thank you page? Just go record it today. This is a wonderful supporting energy. In fact, do the audit of your website. Where's there a video missing to create the connection? Go record that video. It only takes 2 minutes. Turn on Zoom and do it, right? It's very, very simple, but think about this. You are universally supported and these energies are amplified right now. So the earth, beautiful grounding energy. And then we have to talk about the harmonic gate. So if you are in your birth chart, if you have harmonic gate 14, but you don't have the 2, the 14 is the gate of the power. So it brings this energy, it scales this energy right now. If you the 2 will activate this and scale the energy, and you have this so much of the channeling of your inner knowing to serve the world, to contribute to the world. You can direct this power through self expression so that you can serve the world and receive the abundance, whether it's money or opportunities. That's what money is. You probably heard so many times people saying money is energy, right? But money is energy of, like, it's like a reciprocity energy. When you are channeling your truth into the world, money comes, you know, back to this. So when you don't have a gate 2 and you have 14, sometimes you have the power and you don't know where to spend it. And it's a sacral gate, right? So especially if you are not a sacral being, so you have an undefined sacral center in your chart and you have 14, you can spend so much energy because you don't know when to stop, right? You can spend energy on wrong things. Just be aware of that. All you can do is be aware of that. And when you're aware, awareness is a huge, huge power, because when you're aware that there is a trait that you might have naturally that is getting too much, or you don't know where to stop, you can just remind yourself. Awareness is huge. I'm experiencing this, especially this last few weeks. I've been obsessed with house plants, and today I had this delivery of yet another order that I'm placing online, and I'm coming in, and all I can think of is plants, plants, plants. And I'm understanding that this is bordering on fixation. This is like a special interest for my neurospicy brain. So all I can do is just say to myself, you know what? It's okay. Let's just close this tab. Let's just not direct the energy there, right? It's not going to go away, and you can place this order later, but just close these tabs, it's a good day. Let's use it wisely, right? So this is the energy overview from my side. Anita, what are you experiencing?
Yeah, you've said so much there. I love this energy. It is the energy of reciprocity, but I do have the gate 14, and it's the gate of prosperity. And it is learning that you have an innate ability to create. And without the 2, as you said, but in what direction if you don't have that 2 already? And it can be feel very dislocating because we all know we can manifest, but we don't necessarily know and what direction to take it to be the most fluid and to bring in the finances and the rewards, the clients that you manifest through that 14. And I have an open sacral center. So I'm not just, it's my conscious sun. So I'm actually here to help people connect with how to create that prosperity and expand it into their lives. But the funny thing here I want to point out is that you'll notice the throat is connected to the G center by the full channel 1/8 this week at the moment. The one being the grounding gate for the reciprocity. But the 8 is activated by Uranus. So here's what's happening is the universe is going, hey, we're shaking up how you think you need to be creatively expressive and how you allow in the reward for that so that you can actually open up to a more aligned form for you. Because with that 1 energy, or with that 2 energy, when you're out of balance, you feel dislocated. You're not quite sure. You're not quite sure where you need to go, how you need to do it. I felt this is a brilliant person example with Juliet and myself. I felt dislocated with respect to my book, how I was going to bring it moving forward. And we literally just described before this call a strategy on how to repurpose the book in a way that's relevant to what I'm doing today. Because let's face it, making decisions is really important. And how you make decisions. And your design tells you how you're designed to make those decisions. And it was just literally, we were just going through, oh yeah, let's refocus it, repurpose, locate the alignment of how I've been using my book. So this is not just relevant to work. It's relevant to everything, right? It's relevant to your work, your relationships realign. You might be noticing at the moment that you're seeing a lot of areas in your relationship where maybe you need to take more charge or more control, maybe where you need to relinquish control. Are you trying to push the square peg into the round hole in your life? Kind of, it might be the right peg and the right square, but they don't go together. you know?
Exactly.
So it is very much a connector energy. It's the feminine energy. And really, when you feel the melancholy, it means you're out of alignment. What do you need to do to energetically align? Because this now radiates through your conversations, radiates through your guidance, and it opens you into a much more prosperous zone. And that's what happened with Juliet. Literally before the call, one thing led to another, and before we knew it, we had a whole strategy done in 5 minutes. In 5 minutes, as opposed to efforting from that the hard work, efforting to get everything in line. No, you don't need to effort to get everything in line, but you do need to understand when you're inspired. It happens like this. When it's hard work, it can take how long is a piece of string?
I love this. I'm going to say something controversial now, guys, but it's controversial generally, but it's not if you read any of my books, it's not for me. Um, the secret to, for example, getting on call, let's say with Anita, like we did, and just while we were getting ready to record, just went into strategizing for me as like a mentor, right? I get into my head as an outer authority, not into my head as in, oh my God, what does Anita need? I'm just channeling what needs to be said because I'm focusing within. This is like a cocoon strategy. And then whatever wants to come out, it comes out, and we were talking about one thing, and then I said, I was walking the dog, Anita, and I thought about you, and I need to tell you something about your book. And I thought, okay, so I could have I could have thought to myself that, oh, this is a lot of hard work I'm proposing for Anita to do, because that's a huge project, and if you think about it in one way. And then I thought, okay, let her decide. So I'm gonna let this self-expression of the direction come out, because what we do when we work with other people, we are the outer authority for them. We are helping them to make decisions because of what we give them. But if we, what a lot of people where I think misunderstanding happens is that they're trying to predict or guess what the other person needs to hear or wants to hear, or there's like, and this is rooted in a self-value question. Am I worthy enough as a guide, so you're trying to kind of master plan what they need to hear instead of just allowing your body, your essence to come out and say exactly what they need to hear. And that's the kind of secret that I'm learning. And I think that this energy is exactly the same. Gate 2, you cannot go get it, you cannot mastermind, manipulate. You just have to be open. You open to receive the direction, but you're also open to direct because it comes from your uniqueness and how you serve to the world, in this case, specifically to one person, but it's just that's how you serve. And the more this is happening, the more I'm convinced that the world is teaching us a wrong approach to, being of service.
That is so true. You've like, because the two is connected to the throat, it's connected all the way there today. Here's the key that I'm going to pull out, which is very, very juicy, is when you are in alignment and you are guided to say that thing, it's 9 times out of 10 the right time. It is the right time to say it. It's exactly what the other person needs to hear. Thank you very much, Juliet. And yet it's when that goes out of balance, I think I need to tell them that, and I haven't checked in with my natural timing. Now that's when you're in your head and you get the resistance to what you're saying. People say, "Who do you think you are? Did I ask you?" All these kind of things, right? But when you're in alignment, that is when it is the time to take that action. I remember a really good point as well. One time we were selling a house, another house. We've moved a lot, right? We were selling a
She
house.
sold a lot of houses, guys.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. And I was literally at the kitchen sink going, I want this house sold quickly. I wonder what's the best thing to do. And I was in alignment. The old owner of the person who sold us the house passed by my kitchen window. And my guidance was, let her know you're selling the house. And I went out and I said, listen, I'm just giving you a heads up. We're moving, we're selling the house just in case you're interested. And that was that. 24 hours later, she came back and she said, I will pay you this much over asking if you take it off the market now. I want it. So that's aligned. Whereas I'm getting this insight for someone and I don't really care whether they want to hear it or not. I'm going to tell them.
Mm.
That's very different. So, I just wanted to
That's
highlight.
such a good point. Such a
Yeah.
good point about the timing because it's again I feel like maybe it's a projector thing, but I think it's this energy, but it's I think it's true for all projected energy. So you might be a manifesting generator, but you have let's say a 1/8. Yeah, this is the projected channel of inspiring others, insights, or you have to wait for the right timing, or you have to have this feeling. It's like the openness, like there is the feeling, not that you want to say, it's not coming out of you, it's the pull of openness of this other person. You just know and you trust this is the right moment, because it's a very different energetically feeling when you want to say it but you actually deep down know it's a wrong moment. And I've had those situations, I've had those situations too. I had a client, I didn't like his logo and I reached out to him knowing he's not open, saying, "Are you really uninterested in my idea about your logo?" And then when we talked about it, he said, "To be honest with you, I don't care." And I should have just like listened to my gut. My gut said no, but our minds are so busy and loud, and they're a very tiny part of our design, but they're very loud. So
Yeah.
sometimes we all make mistakes. And you know what? It's also good. I want to, before we wrap up, there's one thing, Anita, that you said, and I just want to also add a little, like a key. You said, like, if you're melancholy, if you feel melancholy, you're probably out of alignment. We also have to allow melancholy, I think, sometimes, because the alignment and realignment happens when you sit in it a little bit. So that's something, and I only say that not to contradict you, Anita, but I want to say that because I know some people who, the moment you say to them that they're out of alignment, they just start running around like headless chickens, instead of grounding, because this is the secret, is there in that melancholy. And plus, if you have a lot of let's say individual circuitry, if just individual energy is prone to melancholy. So it's also important to acknowledge that you might be prone to melancholy. If you have emotional authority, you will have the lows, there will be. So in a way, sitting with it a little bit, allowing the wave to go, because it's always going to come and go, it's not a permanent thing. But if you feel like you're just stuck in it, that's where absolutely awareness. Okay, so how can we redirect this? Ground yourself, see where direction comes. For me, it always does come eventually.
Yeah. And can I answer that just for a sec? Because to me, acknowledging the melancholy is the first step. But so many people acknowledge the melancholy and go down the rabbit hole of, oh my God, what's wrong? As
Yeah.
opposed to realizing I'm melancholic now and I am going to just super nurture myself and, see what this melancholy is bringing me. And 9 times out of 10, it is that I'm out of alignment. So when I'm ready, I will ground and center and get back in because that melancholy is saying, oh, hey, you're feeling this sad because you're doing things in a way that's not correct for you. And you need to acknowledge that too, especially with this energy. So the melancholy brings a different theme based on where the melancholy, where
Yeah.
the individual energy is. And it's just there's so many people out there who think they're suffering from depression, who actually have individual circuitry and who just need to acknowledge it rather than, oh my, you know what I'm saying? So I just wanted to bring a depth.
That is perfect. I'm so glad that you said that. In fact, Anita has an emotional authority, right? So the ups and downs, how about the individual and circuitry? Do you have a lot in your chart
I do.
naturally?
I have the 1/8. I have the 5950 or 3955. I do. I have two full melancholic channels, so I know all about it. I've known the downside, or not even the downside, where I can go in a way that I can take myself out for as long as I want, or the way that, oh, I'm feeling this way again. Hang on, I know what this is.
That's
I can work with this now rather than and open my heart to it rather than judge it or criticize
mm.
it or what's wrong with me this time, kind of. So it is.
It's a
It's
very strong energy, isn't it, when we start like beating ourselves. Oh,
yeah,
what is wrong? This is, and then we start looking for it. And the mind, this is where the mind will find the reason. It'll give you the reason and it'll sound very, very convincing that this is the reason. It's like your relationships are wrong, your plants are dying, and this is like you're an idiot. And it's going to be like this if you're approaching it in this way. And so I love what you've added. It's very, very valuable. And it's interesting, I was just looking at the Chiron return because it's happening for me in a couple of years. So I'm kind of approaching this. And one of the lessons for me will be to learn about the emotional waves and the melancholy specifically, which is really, really interesting because I find that as I opened my second book with that, I springboard of misery.
mm,
For me, it's good to be sometimes a bit sad and a bit, miserable for a while because that's a process in my success story. Every
yeah,
time it's the same thing. So when I feel really bad, I do know that I also need to allow this. So instead of trying to rationalize it, to allow it and to realign myself. And there's always, especially the lower I feel, the more the burst I find. So it's really good. My point here is that watch your cycles. Because
mm,
sometimes you could be in that, what they call like the swamp of despair, just before the breakthrough. And so maybe that's and the swamp of despair, in my case it's physical pain too, so it's not pleasant at all. I could be in absolute bits, and then it's just like the body is almost reinventing itself, or realigning on a cellular level so that the next breakthrough can happen. So now, knowing that, I'm not saying it's easy through those low periods. It's still painful and annoying, but at least I know somewhere deep down, I'm saying, okay, so the only way is up. The next thing is going to be something. I am now ready. And then it happens. So,
exactly. And the fun thing about this is it is individual energy. You are inventing something new. It is a lonely place to be because you're not quite, it hasn't quite got there yet, or you might have invented it and people aren't ready for it yet. So it can be a lonely place to not even lonely with this specific energy feeling dislocated. It can feel like you're alone because you're just about to break through into a new level of alignment that brings you into more harmony, more light, more love in your life, more prosperity, more flow. So, it's such a lovely way of dealing with it, I think, that you've just described, Juliet, and myself, because the melancholy is saying, because I have this just isn't working for you anymore. You might have up to yesterday been fine with it, and you wake up today and it's I don't know, I just can't do this anymore, and you've come to a natural ending. And
mm,
so when you know how to work that energy and how to interpret it correctly, it makes all the difference. So I do that sometimes. I wake up and go, I just can't do this anymore. I knew with my lab work I was there, I can't work in a hospital anymore. I don't know how to navigate that. And that's when tuning into your inner wisdom, your guidance is the best thing to do because it naturally navigates you. The more you stop fighting with the ending and start opening to the beginning. And this is where this energy is really cool because it's right up through your G center, which is your center for love and direction. So
exactly.
it's so
I
cool.
love it.
Anyway,
I love it. And by the way, before we wrap up, I forgot completely. We were just talking about, loneliness and being alone. Gate one, the earth, the grounding energy. This is actually an energy of doing things yourself on your own. So you might, and it's good, spend some time alone. It's not about alone lonely. It's about alone in my cocoon of creation and self-expression. It is really good time because your uniqueness cannot be expressed together, right? It's you. It's about you. So it's a very, very good time. Spend some time alone, creating. It will feel joyful. It's just Such a wonderful, I'm getting goosebumps all over my body. It's such a wonderful thing when you allow yourself to channel your truth and your unique expression, and especially when it's in the form of your business or what you do inside your business. And this is why it's up to you to decide what you do, what format you're doing it, how you're expressing yourself. Is it going to be strictly professional? You're going to expand and talk about life a little bit as well, because we connect on so many different points, and it's just whatever makes you is so unique that each one of us has no competition.
Yeah.
We've been doing these transit videos, me and Anita, we are very different people. We're doing these transits. Some of viewers are attracted to Anita, and Anita's got loads of clients from these. Some are attracted to me because of our unique expressions, not about competition, right?
Yeah.
At all. And that's so beautiful. So the more we can, I think this is the transit to really taste that energy, to
Mm.
really feel that joy, to really spend time alone creating something, expressing yourself, so that you can then remember that in your body, even, remember that. And so when the transit passes, you can be stronger in that conviction of your own unique coolness that you're bringing to the world, your purpose. And that's
Yeah.
a really, really beautiful thing.
That's so true. Well, just before you finish, it's like no matter who you're with, no matter what you're doing, make sure you're playing your own game.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. I love that. Okay, guys, we will see you next week. Have a wonderful, wonderful few days. Make the most of them and get out of your own way too. We will see you in the next episode of Transits and Tactics. Bye.